Okay, so this is gonna be the Rwby Volume 6 predictions video, and I've had a lot of time to think on this, a lot. And thanks to someone online, Imperial, working through anger issues with Rwby as well. Don't bring up bad things, it's gotta be the way it goes. I was a bit constant about not doing this video because I think what led to my view on Volume 5 was doing predictions. You end up probably raising your expectations, but we'll give it a go. So first, starting with the four girls. Last chapter volume, Rwby was the one that basically did nothing. I think through the volumes you can kind of see different. There's always one of the girls that does nothing in one of the volumes. That's how it works out. And if it's based on environment and us going to Atlas next, Yang will be taking that role. She will be the background character in Atlas because no matter how many times I go over it, there's really nothing for her to do in Atlas. She had a lot of shine in Volume 5 due to Raven and the PTSD and everything going through 4 or 5, but in Atlas, Yang's not going to do much. She's going to be pretty much a supporting character. If one of the other girls is doing something, she'll be there to support them. But in terms of Yang's development, I think it's going to be at a standstill for a bit because her development will evolve around Ty and Raven, who are off doing whatever, God knows what, in their thing. So yeah, Yang's going to be at a standstill. Now we cut to Rwby. The issue with Rwby is everyone wants character development out of Rwby because it's one of the faults right now, regardless if you're a hardcore fan or you're a hater. Ruby's just, she's turning into a bad protagonist, mainly because Jean had his huge boost in character development. And I really hope they don't write Jean in as this supreme friggin' leader in Atlas, I swear. He shouldn't even be in Atlas. I don't see a reason for him being in Atlas. I think this is the time where some of Juniper and Team Rwby have to split. Some remain back at Haven and some go to Atlas. They all don't need to go to freaking Atlas. But for Rwby, do I want her to have character development? Yes. The problem is you want to do it right. You want something to push her. And concerning Atlas, at first I was like, there's not really much for Rwby to do in Atlas. This is going to be the Weiss arc and Blake if they do it right, but I'll get to that. Concerning Rwby, what it evolves to her is the only thing that I thought that can give her character development is the Penny project. Do I want to see Penny come back? No. Not in that sense. If her aura soul was tied to the previous body, I don't want there to be some friggin' capsule in part of her body that captured her friggin' soul and somehow they recovered that and then shipped it off. I don't want that. I don't want Penny back. Just leave her in Chibi. She's like Torchwick, just let it go. She's like Pyrrha, let it go. It's gone. However, the project that Penny stands for in an industrial point of view, why have those robots, the Elysian Knights, when you can have friggin' people that look human? I mean, that's the point Cinder was trying to make. It was an excellent point from a villain's point of view. So we could see that Atlas is invested in an android army. And what if they are? You could push this to really dark morality levels if you were saying they were taking people, not pretty much killing them, but what if they were taking people that were dying or were sick and then transferring their souls into androids that they can control and weaponize because it's robots with a semblance? That's the dark place they could go with this. And all this reflects on Rwby actually being curious enough to actually find out about who Penny's father was, or Penny's maker, whatever you want to go along those lines. How Atlas, this has to become Investigator Rwby. She has to start using her fucking brain and not the bloody I believe all good shit's gonna happen. No, she's gonna have to start looking at a darker aspect of life, or just randomly bump into the freaking guy. Because one, if there is a huge battle in Atlas or Mantle or something, um, it doesn't have to be as bad as the Battle of Haven, where they tried to use the stealth prognosis, even though the villains had everything going for them. Like, yeah, I'm not. See, I'm already going into it. I don't want to go further into that. But yeah, Rwby could find out. It could make her question the morality of humanity. I mean, if she just turns around and goes that same line that she used on Emerald, why are you doing this? Why? I swear to God, it's time for this girl to wake up. She needs a big bump in the friggin' head. It's like she's had chances to evolve, like with the letter that no one received, so that was kind of pointless. It's like, I think with Ruby's character, it's like she's hiding the truth. Every time she discovers something dark, she'll react to it for like a minute, and then she just buries it and brings out this optimistic attitude. And I think what in the show we need this moment where that optimistic attitude either wavers or just fades away for like even a whole volume, and that she has to earn or like evolve to a point where she gains that optimism back, like a driving force. She has to question it at some point. Because I hate optimistic characters. Like, I'm a huge Naruto fan, but I couldn't stand Naruto sometimes. The character, per se, because he's just optimistic as shit. I don't like it. Yeah, so that's Rwby's character development. It's going to be tied to the Penny Project. I can't see her developing in any other way. I've tried to, but like there is no way, unless they're going to kill Crow. And shit, they could have done that. Fucking Black in Volume 4. Just a quick point on that. If they had killed off Crow, and it did come across as Ruby's fault because she got involved, and he died, and then Yang catches up to them afterwards, and Ruby's like, it was my fault, he told me to stay back, and I got involved and ended up in Crow getting killed. We could have seen some real sibling fight. Because if they just turned around with Yang and just gone, oh yeah, Rwby, I forgive you straight off, then they would have just ruined the fucking show. It's clear there's no consequences for actions. But if we actually see the sisters start fighting, that could have developed Yang to evolving into like a Raven type character where she doesn't trust people. It would have been a very interesting concept. And you obviously see how I like darker aspects. I think if a show's going to evolve, it needs darkness introduced to it. And that's why I liked Volume 3. I don't like a lot of characters in Volume 3. Like, I hate Flint and friggin' Neon. I think that ruined world building. Next character, we're going on to Blake, and this is a big chance for Rwby to redeem themselves with the Faunus storyline. As far as we know very basic facts. We don't want to believe Jacques. Jacques is telling us that he pays the Faunus equally. And honestly, if it comes across as as he hires Faunus to work in the mines and they are getting paid equally, it's just a dangerous work environment, then the Faunus story is just going to fall flat. There's no build for it at all, and the show fails pretty much a quarter of its story in an instant. This part has to get dark. If Blake ends up at Atlas, which it probably will. I doubt they're going to divide the team up again. I don't think Ilya's going. I think Ilya could be not the next leader of the White Fang, but a future leader of the White Fang. And for that to happen, because I feel like she's closer to the Faunus cause than Blake is. Blake is like really whiny and bitchy. And I really don't get why she became a huntress. She could have just gone to her father, could have gone to Sienna. She's the princess of the White Fang, for fuck's sake. But, I don't see Ilya going. I see Blake, she's in Atlas. She's a Faunus. She's not hiding it anymore. And she's a close friend to Weiss. So I honestly see this looking into the Faunus aspect of this so-called slavery, of the mine, of the prejudice, and it's what could lead to the Battle of Atlas or the Battle of Mantle. I don't know. I don't know where the mines are. Are they below Atlas or are they below Mantle? And this is something like this whole friggin' volume better not take place at Atlas Academy or the Weiss Manor. It has to be in multiple areas. We need to see Mantle. One of my biggest faults with Volume 5 is I did not give a shit about Mistral because we were there, and the only parts of Mistral that we freaking saw was what bloody Team Ranger did in their goddamn house. If you're gonna have the same feeling with the fall of Beacon in another capital, you got to build up to it. So just quick interlude. Atlas, we have to be there for at least 2 volumes. If Volume 6 starts, and by the time it ends, we're leaving Atlas to go to Vacchio, if that alone happens, I'm dropping the show. Because that's not world building, it's not consequence, there's no connection. You would have to be a hardcore fan who's literally coming in your pants over the fact that we got to Atlas and we're leaving, and it's like, oh my god, Atlas. I don't give a shit. I'm like, give me something to actually care about. I want to see some development. I'm like, I did not give a shit about Mantle. At the end, I was screaming, I was hoping Adam blew up the whole fucking city. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I mean, you got a traitorous headmaster, all the huntsmen and huntresses are dead or on missions, no student or friggin' see, this is what happens. Blake, of course, yeah, Blake. Yeah, it's going to be along the lines of the Faunus mines and everything. This could do a lot of good for Blake because it shows she actually cares about the White Fang and not her, you know. Blake comes across as a social justice warrior. It's like she wants freedom, but we're not going to fight for it. We're not going to do violence for it. By just screaming out our voice, we will get the freedom. And no offense, that's what your father did, and it ended up failing because you got a shitty island in the middle of nowhere. You know, the whole reason you hated your father, well, disappointed in your father, was that he gave in to this stupid ideal of menagerie. That's the reason you went off with Adam. So her coming in and then being like, we won't start violence, we'll just preach it, is kind of like she's become her father, and that's the one person she didn't agree with in the beginning. So truth is, violence is necessary for a revolution. It's a very scary concept. What do I agree wholeheartedly with what Adam's doing? No, because that's extremist territory. That is wrong regardless. But there's a balance. Violence is necessary. It's like Sienna was right. It's just questioning where and when you use violence. So yeah, Yang, she won't have much to do. Rwby needs to get into the Penny Project. That's going to lead to character development and morality. Blake's got to get into the Faunus mines, discover that. Weiss, she's going to be the star. God damn, she's been the star for a while now. Volume 4, Volume 5, now going into Volume 6, you're getting a huge character arc, and this is where staying in Atlas is important for at least 2 volumes, so we can really, because after we leave Atlas, after Atlas is solved, there is no more Weiss character development. This is it for her. Where does she go? Well, confronting her father over business practices, the family name, Whitley, whatever. That's going to be a very interesting concept, how she takes back control of the company. Winter has to be in this fucking volume, and we already know, a little teaser for all of you that do actually watch this. When we bumped into the voice actress of Winter, Elizabeth Maxwell, by the way, I'm a bigger fan of hers for Noragami, and she's actually her favorite voices done was for Noragami as Bishamon, especially in season 2, because one thing you'll notice about Rwby, she doesn't actually have that many voice lines. Like Winter's character is quite pathetic right now in Rwby. She's basically come in, told, and for anyone that thinks she's the Winter Maiden, I mean, why the fuck would they kick her out of the room in Volume 3 and say you're not important if she was the Winter Maiden? However, Elizabeth has established something at Supernova because they read their scripts, and she was there with Kara, and she said something big is going to be happening, something epic wise that can change the story from Winter's perspective that not even Kara knew about. So what happens won't even concern, it will concern Weiss, but it doesn't take place with Weiss. Something big's going to happen with Winter that's going to shape the Atlas thing that not even Kara's aware of. So that's good news there. And they wouldn't elaborate. They're not allowed to even tell each other, which is really creepy. So yeah, you got Winter. Weiss is just fighting for the family. It's going to be really odd. And I really hope. One thing I want them to actually bring into official canon. It's in the friggin' manga. If you haven't read the manga, and spoilers ahead if you haven't, just skip a minute or something from now. Is the Weiss's knight isn't some family legacy or some epic summons, because you'll be questioning why Winter can't do it. It's actually a piece of armor. It's an Atlas experiment that they've captured Geist Grimm and they've bound them to the armor. And that's why she's able to summon the knight. She's defeated the experiment, and because it contained Grimm, she's able to summon it as a knight. It doesn't have any hideous mutations like it did in the manga, where it had like some really odd looking shit to it. But the knight is a Grimm. My concern is if you wanted to nerf Weiss, make her less powerful, just say she kills a Beowulf and then she summons it next time in combat. That's it. If she wants to summon another Beowulf, she has to go out and kill another Beowulf. The fact that she can just re-summon stuff over and over is just building up to her summoning fucking 500 bloody Grimm at once on some Jean aura boost. It's going to be fucking ridiculous. Who else? Who else do I want to show up? Talking about the villains, we all know Cinder's going to come back. In this volume, I doubt it, because regardless, if she comes back, if she even shows her face to Salem, she's in shit. She went off plan. She's going to cop some shit. So, I really don't know. Hazel, to me, he should be dead. He had a fucking hole like this big in his fucking gut. If you're crying about Weiss surviving like this little fucking thing, oh, I'm dying, and then this arsehole survives something that big with just his fucking aura, which is suggesting that his aura can heal internal organs, bones, tissue. Man, fuck, Hazel should be dead. Stupid fucking character. Such a stupid motivation. So yeah, I don't care what happens to Hazel. I'm curious what the hell they're gonna do with Cinder. Adam Taurus is fucked. I'm so like, the only way you come out of that is if he goes to Salem, he follows him back, he goes to Salem, and he ends up with some grim freaking mutation like Cinder. Imagine like the mask is permanently stuck to his face and it's fucking mutated and something. And then in the future, when, you know, they have this epic confrontation and he gets killed, the mask crumbles off and we finally get to see his fucking eyes. There's an epic way to write the fucking story in itself. Yes, I've watched too much manga, I've read too many books, I'm actually good at writing a fucking plot. What else, villain-wise? What is going to be the friggin' epic one of this one? We all know. We know Tyrion's going to show up with his robot tail. God knows why he doesn't have a grim fucking tail. Would have been more epic in my opinion. Fuck, get a robot tail, goddamn. Salem has to do something at this point. The fans are pissed. They want her to be an actual threat. Stop making excuses. Oh, she's from the shadows. She manipulates people. Get off your fucking ass, bitch, and do something. Who else? Who else? It's like, oh, Mercury and Emerald. Like, Mercury took a massive nerf. Honestly, I wanted him to be the friggin' assassin, the killer. He's out in the real world now. He doesn't have to hold back. He's he's most likely going to put your head under his fucking boot and fire off a gunshot right into your goddamn skull. What did we get? Come on, little girl. I'm like, oh god. I want to see them go nuts. I reckon Emerald's going to have a massive evolution in friggin' power, and it's going to be her learning to manipulate this new power. And he's just got to go nuts. I really can't see, like, prediction-wise, that's it. The 4 girls, the villains, they need a big boost. Atlas is going to fall. I swear, if Atlas survives, then there's no point. Grim, I only got 30 seconds. Grim are fucked. They're the cannon fodder. There is no special Grim that can fucking save the day. As my predictions, it's like, I hope it doesn't disappoint. I hope it doesn't end after 1 volume in Atlas and then they go to back here. I hope they don't rush this. I hope they sort out their production issues, and good luck to the new lead animator, mate. I wish you luck on the project.